Hey everybody, it's Chad. I'm looking at your yellow wallpaper essays and I'm noticing some issues with quality work standards. Most of your papers are close to what we're trying to do here, but there's one kind of tricky issue that I've seen several people struggling with, and so I want to put this out here on video so that you can watch this back and figure out how to change the settings. The issue that I'm seeing is not something that you're necessarily doing. Rather, it's default settings in Microsoft Word, depending on which version of Word you're using and maybe what you've set your default settings to if you've adjusted those in the past. MLA document format requires double spacing throughout. And this document that we're looking at here looks like it's double spaced. It is double spaced. If we check here with the spacing, we see that it's 2.0. And so you might assume that that's okay. But if you look carefully, you'll see that the space here is not the same as the spaces here. And that, in fact, we have some extra space between all these elements as well, and between the paragraphs. And so essentially what's happening here is that every time you hit the enter or the return key, Microsoft Word is putting a little bit of extra space in there. And it's tricky because you can't highlight it and delete it or anything. You have to go into your settings to do this. So I'm going to show you two quick things in your settings that you want to make sure that you do. Sometimes people will set up a blank document to meet these requirements and just kind of keep using that as a starting point for each essay that you do. So if this is difficult for you to remember or a pain in the butt, that's an option. You could set up a blank essay template, and then you could use that as your starting point every time and then just save it as a new document when you're working on it. But two things we want to make sure to do, and one of them is pretty standard, and that is to check your I think I don't have the whole screen showing here, so I'm making sure we have the options that you need. Our margins. So let me see. If I click a layout here, and margins, there we go. I just upgraded my Microsoft Word this weekend, and so I'm getting used to finding where some of these things are. But if I click margins here, normal is set in the new version of Word is set at 1 inch all around, and that's what you want. Some older versions of Word have like 1.25 inches or 1.5 inches as your margins, and MLA format requires 1 inch margins left, right, top, and bottom. Okay, so that's one, and there's a couple of different ways to get to that. I was lucky to find that option there. And then we want to see line spacing as well, which we can see here. And you can see that it says after is 7.92 points. So there's almost an 8-point type space between these. And I'll show you the way that I usually go about checking this. It's in this line spacing menu here. Okay, so I'm going to highlight my whole document and go into my line spacing menu here. And even though it said 2.0, now that I've highlighted it all, you see that it doesn't say that. I'm going to go to line spacing options, and it says line spacing is single. I want that to say 0. I want this to say double, 0 space before and 0 after. And I want to click this little box that says don't add space between paragraphs of the same style. Okay? You can also click right here and set that as your default setting once you've made the change. Okay, so I'm going to click OK, and you'll see the change now. My document ends up being shorter because I don't have all that extra space every time there's an enter keystroke. Okay, so this is what you should see. Some of you guys have my writing that says QWS up here, reminding you of our quality work standards. The directions and an example are on Canvas and in your syllabus, and I thought it might help you to see how to get into Microsoft Word and make that change. As always, let me know if you have questions, and take it easy. I'll see you in class soon. Bye.